Hello people, welcome to yet another episode of the Field of Play, the World Cup edition. I know the World Cup is over, but there are a lot of things about the World Cup that I really think we should have a look at. One, without the football, there is no football game. I hope I'm not being too confusing. Without the leather ball, how are we going to play the football? So in this episode, we are going to take a look at all the footballs that have been used in all the World Cup competition. My name is Elitete Domekwo. Stay with me. We'll be right back. The first World Cup was hosted in Uruguay in 1930. Uruguay hosted the World Cup, and the official ball that was used for that competition was the Model T ball. Now this is the pre-Adidas balls. Before Adidas came into the picture and started producing balls for FIFA, we had the T model balls. Now, Uruguay played most or majority of their matches with official match ball, which was the T model ball. And in their final match against Argentina, Argentina opted to play the match with their own ball. So the first half was played with Argentina's ball, which was also what? A 12-panel ball with a leather stitching around it. Now they played the first half and Argentina won the first half 2-1. Now when they came back for the second half, Uruguay decided to use their ball, which was the official FIFA ball, the Model T ball. Usage of the balls, or the various balls, played a very crucial role in that particular game because Argentina won the first half 2-1. But when we came back to the second half and they used the Uruguayan ball, Uruguay won that game 4-2, which meant the ball played a significant role in their performance. So that was the ball used in the first World Cup, 1930 World Cup, which was hosted and won by Uruguay. So we have what? A host and win. In 1934, the World Cup was hosted in Italy and the official match ball was the Federal 102. Federal ball consisted of 13 polygon panels which were perfectly stitched together by hand. So the Federale ball brought in an innovation because as at that time, all the World Cup balls that were used were 12 panel. But this particular one had an innovation, which is what? A 13 panel football. Now, the bladder of the ball was encased in a lace of 6 rows. For the first time, the leather rolls which was used to stitch the ball was replaced with what? A cotton string. Now this made it easier for the players to head the ball because the cotton was softer than the leather. We look at the World Cup in 1938 ball, which was the France Allen ball. The World Cup was held in France. The France Allen ball was made up of 13 panels, which was also similar to the Federale 102 ball, which was used the previous 4 years. Now, the cotton laces of the Allen balls were white because in that time they were using black and white. So it showed in their videos that there was black and white. But they did not last long because they were playing on muddy pitches. So anytime the ball went around the mud, the color changed. And this made viewing very difficult. This ball was hand sewn and needed an expert to pump the ball. If an expert did not pump the ball, we won't achieve the spherical shape that the ball needs to be. So it was very difficult pumping the ball to get that round shape of the ball that we wanted. But so this was done by experts who were specifically trained for pumping the World Cup balls. So we look at the 1950 World Cup ball, which was hosted in Brazil. Now the ball was called the Super Bowl. Now this was the first World Cup to introduce a laceless ball with a stringed valve. Now even though the laceless football had been introduced about 10 years on or a decade on, it took a while for people to accept it. So the first time it was officially accepted and used at the World Cup was in Brazil at the 1950 World Cup. Now this was a 12-panel football. And then this time the panels were curved. So this is when we started having the curved edges and the joints of of the ball. This was the first time FIFA allowed manufacturers of the ball to print their logos on the ball. So the year is 1954 and the World Cup is being held in Switzerland. Now the name of the match ball was the Swiss World Champion. The ball was made of 18 zigzag panels which perfectly interlocked each other. So the ball was completely hand-sewed and no longer had laces on them like the previous balls. The color of the ball was no longer dark brown, but it had become an attractive yellow and hell orange. Now this made the ball visible during rainy matches because there was a lot of mud on the pitches which made the ball very difficult for viewers to see. The company that manufactured the ball was the Kost Sports Company from Basel. The year is 1958 and the World Cup was being held in Sweden. The name of the official match ball was the Top Star. Now there's a funny story about how this ball was chosen to be used for the World Cup. Out of 102 balls, this ball was selected by 4 FIFA officials in a blind test. They were blinded and then they have to test all the balls, rub their hands through all the balls to select this particular ball, which was eventually used for the World Cup. Now this World Cup ball was made of a popular designs for the previous World Cup, but it had intricate designs and intricate patterns, meaning there were 2 types of panels used. 2 long panels and 2 short panels intricately put together with a small panel at the middle where the valves or the bladder was held for the ball to be pumped. Now there were some technological advancements within this ball, meaning it came with waterproof waxing, protecting the ball from water and making it waterproof. 3 colors of the ball were made and used: white, yellow and light brown. But the white ball was used in the final match between Brazil and Sweden. In 1962, Chile hosted the World Cup, and the name of the ball used was the crack. It's a funny name for a ball, eh? Crack. It sounds like crack something. Now, the European teams did not like the crack ball. There were some reasons to this, because it was manufactured locally in Chile. So because of this, they ordered 100 pieces of the Top Star ball from 1958. In the opening match, the referee, Ken Anton, was not impressed about the performance of the ball during the first half and ordered for a new ball to be brought, which was the 1958 ball, the Top Star ball. The Chilean ball had some innovative design. It had 18 irregular polygonal panels, 2 different shapes of the ball: hexagonal, curved, and rectangular, all joined together by manual sewing as if it was a big puzzle because of the complexity of the panels. With the new latex valve, the air was retained longer within the ball and it gave it a spherical shape. From an aesthetic point of view, the ball has some elegance, but it came with some few issues. This was due to the color coating placed on the ball, which faded very quickly off the ball. The year is 1966 and England is hosting the World Cup for the first time. The name of the match ball was the Slatsinger. Now the Slatsinger was made of high quality leather of 25 panels, which was hand woven. The only difference between the 1966 ball and the previous World Cup ball was the panel that had the valve inside. This was a very small panel within the center of the ball. The inflation system in the ball was the latest type of valve. This was the latex rubber valve. Now this made the ball very spherical. Now this composition or make of the ball was adopted by other companies and used in the manufacturing of their balls. The color of the ball was white, yellow and orange. In the majority of the game, the white balls were used. The match ball used in the final was the orange ball. It was in a game between Germany and England, and England won that match by 4-2. Gufha scored a hat-trick in that game, and traditionally he was supposed to have kept the ball, but Hemet Hala took the ball, only returning it in 1996. From 1966 to 1996, that's a number of years. In 1970, the FIFA World Cup was held in Mexico, and the ball used was the Adidas Telstar Duelast. Adidas started manufacturing ball in 1963. but did not officially start manufacturing balls for FIFA till 1970. And since then, they have become the official ball manufacturers or suppliers for the FIFA World Cup. This was the first time the Buckminster design was used in manufacturing of a ball. The ball had 32 panels, right? 20 regular hexagonal white panels and 12 regular pentagonal black panels. Now, the surface of the ball was coated with a special substance called the Dulast. This protected the leather of the ball and also made it waterproof. The 1970 World Cup, held in Mexico, was the first time the World Cup was being telecast live on TV. Now, indication was the black and white ball made the combination of the contrast very visible for those watching on black and white and those watching on colored TV. The name Telstar was derived from two words, that's television and star. It was said that the black and white combination and contrast would boost or help visibility of the ball for those watching on black and white or those watching on colored TV. In 1974, the World Cup was held in Germany and the ball used was the Adidas Telstar Dulast. Now, this was the first time a polyurethane coating was used in the first ball. This made it more durable and also more water resistant or waterproof. Because of the success of the first Telstar ball, Adidas did not really change the design of the 1974 World Cup ball. The only changes that were made was a more stronger Dulast coating was used on the ball to prevent water from seeping through the seams into the ball. Now, this made the balls very heavy for the players to kick, which meant they had to apply more force to kick the ball. The first Telstar ball was so successful that Adidas did not change much about the design. The same ball or ball design was used for the 1974 World Cup with just a few minor changes. The text on the ball was changed and then a more stronger Dulast coating was used on the ball. The year is 1978 and Argentina is hosting the World Cup. The name of the match ball was the Adidas Tango Dulast. Now, this was a family of balls which was used in the European Championship and also used at the Summer Olympics of the 1988. Adidas launched a brand new model of the ball which was inspired by the traditional Argentinian dance, the tango. Now, the design consisted of 20 black panels threaded, which created an optical impression of 12 identical circles promptly curved triangles, each one printed on the colored surface of the hexagonal panel. Since the pentagonal panels were white colored, now because of the black and white panels and circles created on the ball, whenever the ball was in motion or it was in move, it created a very attractive pattern, which made it very nice to watch visually. Now, this became synonymous with Adidas. So in the 1980s, Adidas produced this ball and it became a very popular ball, and they produced it for a number of years. The Tango design was applied on all Adidas balls until the year 2000, when it was changed or new technology caused the change of the balls. The 1982 World Cup was held in Spain and the name of the ball was the Adidas Tango España. Now, this came with some new introductions with the rubber inlaid over the seams to prevent water from seeping through the ball. This made the ball more waterproof or water resistant. After general kicking of the ball and playing for a while, the seams began to break and needed to be replaced after a while. This was the last genuine leather ball to be used at the World Cup due to the success of the previous Tango ball in the 1978 World Cup and then the 1980 Euros. Now, due to the success of the previous Tango, this was the last genuine leather ball to be used because of the success of the previous World Cup ball. Adidas did not produce any revolutionary ball for a while after this particular ball of the 1980. They only made minor changes for the World Cup in Spain. Now, this was the first time Adidas had named a match ball after the host country, the España. and this tradition continued since then. The ball was almost identical to the first tango ball produced for the 1978 World Cup. This was made up of 32 black panels with the same tango designs on top of each hexagonal panel. Curved triangles were printed on top of every hexagon, which form a circle around the 12 pentagons, giving the ball a great illusion of 12 identical circles. This is the part 1 of the balls of the FIFA World Cup. Stay tuned as we bring you part 2 in our next video. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube page, Field of Play, and all our social media platforms, Field of Play GH Facebook, Field of Play GH Twitter, and Field of Play GH Instagram. My name is Elite Domokpo, and you've been watching the Field of Play. See you later.